Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday League to Champions League. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and today we have a really tough game away against Real Madrid, and we have the rest of the transfer roundup, and also a bit of a discussion on the finances of the club as well. In fact, we'll get into that first. So, obviously, it's very widely known that Barcelona are quite heavily into debts at the moment. Um, they're actually debt free on here. I don't exactly know whether they've just cleared it all or what, but there's nothing of any actual debt at all. They have £8 million in transfer debt, but other than that, there's nothing to go on. So that is quite refreshing actually, and it means that I've got a bit of a clear slate really, and we can work off what we have. Um, Another thing I found out, so the Barcelona B team is basically set up as a different club. They're in the lower parts of the Spanish leagues, and I was a little confused at one point. So the players I want that so one of the players we had, Lucas Pires, we managed to sell him for £6 million. Now I moved him to the B team because I knew I was going to sell him. However, the £6 million fee, we didn't receive that, and I was a bit confused as to why. Now all of the wages and everything in the B team don't relate to the wage budget of the main team. So I was a bit confused by that. So when I had the likes of Tropiano and Carrera in the senior team, the 120, 130 grand a week that they're on between them then came out of our wage budget because we moved them up. So I was umming and ahhing about these things, and I thought about moving some of the big name players into the B team to get the wages off the book so I could be more manoeuvrable in the transfer market. But then I thought, well, obviously the wage budget will very much go over then. So we didn't do an awful lot in the end, but it was interesting to find that out, to be honest, and it means that if there's players in the squad that we're not planning on playing and they're on big money, we can move them into the B team. But at the same time, before we receive offers for them, we have to bring them back into the senior team because otherwise we won't see the transfer money. So it's a bit of a strange balancing act with them, really. I mean, it's the likes of Catala and Montoya. They're worth good amounts of money, as you can see. But in order to get that money from them, we've got to move them into the senior team. So it's a bit of a strange one, like I say, but hopefully it might be something that we look at going forward and we might be able to manoeuvre it around a little bit. So in terms of the actual transfers, as you can see, we actually signed this guy before uh, the last episode, but he doesn't actually sign until January. He's a 17-year-old Algerian midfielder, and I think he's going to be excellent, to be quite honest. He's going to take some development. We brought him in for £2.5 million, and like I say, he will sign in January. So again, I think he'll be a good option for the future, and that is largely where we've tried to focus our attentions in the transfer market. So, like I say, we did sell a few other players. A couple of other players went for £4 million, youngsters, but because they're in the B team, it's not showing on our transfer history. So therefore, the money didn't properly take effect. So in future, I'll have to make sure that when we're trying to sell the players, they get moved into the senior side. In terms of the actual senior players, though, Andrea Pinamonti went to Shakhtar for only 4.5 million. I think there's scope for a little bit more money from that deal, but it was quite difficult to find someone to buy him, unfortunately. Anyway, he has now left, and Abel Ruiz has gone to Lyon for £10 million. We're still paying Abel Ruiz 70 grand a week, but we're saving 80 grand a week on the wages. His current contract with us would have run out this season, so we don't have to pay anything after this season for him anyway. And in terms of other signings, the South African goalkeeper came in, Ntut Malangu. He's 22 years of age. He's just going to be a backup goalkeeper. We signed him for 1.2 million. He's worth a lot more than that. And to be honest, I think he's quite a good goalkeeper. He's 6'4" as well. Is he going to be a first teamer? Probably not, but I think he'll be a very solid backup for us going ahead. We brought in Thomas Lund for £2.6 million. He was 17 when we signed him. He's just turned 18. We've signed him from Copenhagen, and again, he's a centre back, 6 foot tall, can also play at right back. And I think, to be quite honest, looking at the way his attributes stack up, he's probably better at right back. Um, but I think he's a good player, and I think hopefully he'll be one for the future. And if it doesn't work out, we'll definitely make a profit on him. So that is another advantage from our point of view. Ian Mandora, we brought in for £1.7 million from Dynamo. Again, a young right back. He's only 17 years of age. And again, I think his attributes are reasonably solid. He isn't particularly quick, though. I do like a right back that can bomb up and down that right, up and down on that right hand side. He's got good potential, though, and hopefully he will come to something. And again, if not, we'll definitely make a profit on him going forward. So it's certainly things to look at. And on deadline day, it took us a while, but we did manage to get a centre back for the first team over the line. Lars Olsen, came in from Mönchengladbach for £18.5 million. He's Swedish international, 21 years old. Very good physical attributes. He's 6'3", and I think he'll be a solid backup for the side as well. He is classed as a squad player. We don't have a lot of cover in there. We did want to try and bring in a central midfielder and a striker as well, but we just didn't have the financial means to do so. I don't like doing structured deals where you do installments and everything like that. Um, I did try and do that on the desperate side of things, but I just couldn't get anything worked out. And unfortunately, we have to deal with what we've got. And I think overall we've had a reasonably successful transfer window. A number of youngsters in through the door, two first teamers in through the door who are young as well with Saglin Bennett and Olsen. So things to build on. We've got a lot to focus on with the squad in terms of the aging and everything like that. But again, we'll just see how things go. And in terms of the way the form started, we battered Valencia in the previous episode, as you're aware, but we then got battered 3-0 by Bilbao away from home. We did not play well at all, and they had three opportunities, knocked them in, and that was that. We then played Sevilla at home and got the 1-0 win. Lautaro Martinez on the score sheet once again, and we go away against Real Madrid next up, and it is going to be a very tough game. In terms of the Champions League draw, we've got Dynamo, Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, our former club Dundee United, Juventus, FC Porto, Lazio and Shakhtar. So there's some tough teams in there. And I think, to be fair, looking at the way it lines up, we've got Dortmund, Arsenal and Juventus. So we're going to have to be on point against those sides. And I think, to be fair, against the other teams, we should be okay. But anything can happen in Europe, and we've really got to be focused. We've got quite a strong squad, even though it's aging. It is a strong squad, and I think with that extra centre back coming in, we have got that extra cover in there. So we're going to have to really focus in and see how we get on. So without further ado, let's get into this game against Real Madrid. I'm hopeful that we can do well against them, but like I say, we have struggled away from home with that previous game against Athletic Bilbao. And we've got Hedl in goal, Molina, Koundé, Araujo and Tomiyasu at the back, De Jong, De Ketelaere and Verhelst in midfield, Balde and Pedri out wide, and Martinez is up front. Saglin Benny unfortunately recently picked up an injury, so he's going to be missing in action for a few weeks. But this is the big test now. I don't want us to get... You can get anomaly in results. I'm hoping the Bilbao one was that kind of an anomaly, but the fact that we got hammered away from home, we've looked quite solid at home. The 1-0 win against Sevilla was quite comfortable, actually, despite the scoreline. And obviously the game against Valencia, we were extremely comfortable. So it's going to be tough, this, but I think if we can get over the line in one or two away games, the confidence will start to build again. We have made changes to the squad. We've sold a couple of experienced players, albeit we've still got plenty. But I'm hopeful that we can just carry a little bit of form into these away games at the moment. Here's Buchmann, Valverde into Endrick. Buchmann again, into Contignola. Now to Kouameni. They're moving the ball superbly here, Real Madrid. Here's Eder Militao. Certainly some names that we recognise still at the club. Here's Kouameni's in there, Guendouzi's in there. They've got Vinicius and Rodrigo still as well. Here's Jadon Sancho. plays it over the top, and Endrick is in behind, and it's 1-0. And again, only 7.5 minutes gone, but away from home, we are not looking great. It has to be said. And in a league as competitive as it is with Real Madrid, just winning home games isn't going to get you anywhere. Here's De Jong into Araujo. Back into De Jong again. Now De Ketelaere. Over the top. That's Pedri in behind. And Pedri has equalised. That's a very well worked move in the end. And fortunately, we weren't behind for long. But straight away, that's an improvement away from home. We did really well to not do anything really against Athletic Bilbao, but that is a lovely ball over the top from De Ketelaere, and Pedri with a very good finish. We have been playing Pedri in central midfield, and he has been quite instrumental with the assist, but putting him out wide, he has opened his account for the campaign, so it might be a place where we try and play him a little bit more. Central midfield is a bit of a weak point. De Jong is our best one, but he is that holding midfielder. We have tried desperately to bring in a midfielder, like I say, but it's just not been happening. So a lot to focus on. We've got some good young players coming through, but they're not first team ready. So it's a bit harsh to have to rely on players like that. But again, we'll see how the season goes. They might develop quite quickly. One or two of them I know for Fana I've had my eye on for a couple of years while we've been at Brentford. And Valbuena, who we brought from the youth team, has settled in quite well too. Here is Sancho. Good delivery, but it's cleared by Araujo. Pedri can't pick it up. And Militao finds Jadon Sancho again, and he's coming inside, and that is a huge finish from Jadon Sancho. Very poor from our point of view defensively. We just let him run straight into the penalty area. And Real Madrid retake the lead here. Again, very poor defensively from our point of view there. Martinez can't get onto it. Here's Sancho again. Into Militao. Can we get the ball back here? Real Madrid certainly seem to be pressing on with an advantage. Pedri can't win it. And now Valverde from distance. It's only just over the bar. But they are starting to really turn the screw a bit now. We need to really pick it up now. I mean, they've been by far the better team. We've been extremely poor here. De Jong is struggling for fitness now as well. And this is a concern at the moment. We're not quite settling. And we've got to wake up, to be quite honest. Molina's not had a good game at left back, and Martinez has been non-existent. But in terms of going forward, as you can see, Madrid are dominated. They are the home team, of course. They will be strong, but we've got to be better than this. We've got the players to be better than this. But for whatever reason, it's just not quite clicking just yet. Here's Buchmann into Rodrigo. Plays it through, and Hendricks in behind again here. And he's played back into Guendouzi. It's 3-1. And I think this is going to be a very tough season. Looking at this. Defensively, this is very poor, to be quite honest. We're going to have to make some changes for sure. I mean, our wing-backs have been absolute dross here. It's a big risk, but I'm going to bring Jordan on for Molina at left-back. I mean, Jordan, he's 16. He's got to make his debut at some point. Why not in the biggest game of our season? Seevold has been injured. He's going to come on for De Jong. Pedri's on a yellow card, but he's far too instrumental. We've got to keep him on. Gonçalo Ramos is going to come on up front for Lautaro Martinez, who again has had an extremely poor game. Araujo and Koundé have been poor as well. Tomiyasu's been shocking. All of our defenders have been awful. So we'll see if that helps at all. I doubt it will, but we can be hopeful, can't we? We're going to demand more. There's not a lot we can do. I mean, Real Madrid obviously have the quality, but I mean, Guendouzi is not one of the best players in the world by far, in my opinion. The fact that he's gone and scored against us is a bit of an insult, but it is what it is. And again, the ball's over the top, and Hendricks in behind again, and it's just over and wide. Ruben Neves is coming on for Taku Amene, and with 20 minutes to go, this game's done. We're not being creative enough, and we don't look like we're going to get back into it either. I just don't want it to get worse. But all the space that they're getting up here. We're supposed to be doing a gegenpress where they press in all the time. This is ridiculous. We're not even getting close to them. Rodrigo into Ortega. Back into Rodrigo, and Hendricks in behind again, and Heddle makes the save. But this is far, far too easy. We have got to wake up. At this moment in time, I'm wondering if a gegenpress system is even going to fit with the team. Because we have been completely undone twice away from home now. Pedri's going to have to come off for Gonzalez. At home, we look good. But away from home, we are not good at all. And it's a very big concern, the fact that we've conceded 3 goals in both of our away games. Pedri loses out to Guendouzi. And Real Madrid are coming forward again, and it's Hendrick. Plays it in, Koundé clears. And it's somehow gone to Gonzalo Ramos and now Balde. I mean, he's not run at the defence once today, Balde. And considering his pace, that's supposed to be one of his strengths. Jordan into Koundé. Balde. Koundé again. Balde hasn't made a single run here. That's a good ball from Gonzalo Ramos. And Pedri manages to strike it across goal. He's hit the post. And that's our first opportunity in quite some time. He's had to go off though, Pedri. I mean, he's on a yellow card and his fitness was starting to waver. It is a bit of a concern that the players aren't dealing well with the fitness side of things. Here's Tomiyasu into Gonzalez. Okay, he just played it all the way back to the halfway line from inside the penalty area for whatever reason. Tomiyasu's managed to get past Rodrigo though. Can he get it in? Gonzalo Ramos strikes. Okay, 3 down. Guendouzi gives away the penalty. Are we back in this here? The penalty has been awarded. Big chance. De Ketelaere with the penalty, and it's 3-3. Guendouzi with a second yellow card as well. We have a massive chance here of getting ahead in this game. Can we do this? It's a lovely penalty from De Ketelaere. Very convincing. We have a chance. Can we push on for a winner? I certainly think the changes seem to have helped as well. We seem to have woken up a little bit going forward. Ramos especially. He's certainly done the damage. Heddle here with a free kick into Koundé. We do have an opportunity here. Jordan into Verelst. He's ended up leaving it for Tomiyasu. He plays it forward. Gonzalez down this right-hand side. Big opportunity maybe knocking here. Gonzalez back to Verelst. Plays it in. De Ketelaere strikes. It's 4-3. And before we made the substitutions, we didn't look like doing anything. But this has been a fantastic comeback. And it's very, very early in the campaign. But this could be a huge turning point over the course of the whole season. A massive confidence boost. De Ketelaere with his second of the game in these last 10 minutes. And we are potentially set to win at the Bernabeu. There goes the final whistle. And that is a phenomenal result. From 3-1 down, we scored 3 goals in the last 11 minutes. The red card potentially did help with conceding that penalty. But Gonzalo Ramos did the damage with that goal to bring it back to 3-2. That is a massive, massive result. And we can move forward from that is for sure. Lautaro Martinez only rated a 6.2. It is a concern. He is only on a 1-year contract and he only signed this summer as well. But that is a massive boost in confidence, not just for the team, but for myself as well. I was getting a bit worried with the away form when we were 3-1 down. Like I say, we lost to Bilbao as well. But that is a huge result for us. And I think we have an opportunity to really push on from that result. We'll just praise the training side of things. We actually played that game on a Friday night as well, by the way, which is a bit of a strange one, but it is something we are going to have to get used to, especially with European games in tow. We'll have to be playing on different days for sure. So in terms of going forward, obviously we've got European games in tow as well. We're going to get through these 4 games in September. We'll come back in October for Villarreal away and Cadiz at home. Hopefully our form will continue. And when we do Villarreal and Cadiz, we'll come back for Dundee United and Atletico Madrid after that.